This is why I want to be a biologist. My three reasons are they are needed more in the world because every day something new is being discovered. Biologists make a big impact on the world, and they can also work in many different fields. Why are biologists needed? Biologists are needed because they discover thousands of species every year. Many of the species they discover are in the ocean and the tropical forests. They also capture animals to discover and figure out their behaviors and evolutions in their new environments. Half of the ocean still hasn't been discovered, and with the help of the biologists, they can discover more of the ocean. Because if you think about it, how many times can you go down deep and deep into the ocean? Not many, and with the help of that, they can find new ways to go deeper into the ocean and discover those new animals. And just like in the forest, many times there's so much in the forest that we haven't discovered that can also be discovered at the same time. Why do they make an impact? Bio means life, and it makes a big impact because biologists can discover new diseases. Without biologists, what would we do if we couldn't figure out what we were sick with? How would we figure out what things make us sick and what things don't? They also find ways to eliminate diseases such as COVID 19. They discovered a way to eliminate that disease because they discovered that if that cell is eliminated or they can be prevented. They can also, in the animal world, they can discover what animals are needed, such as bees. Bees are needed to be able to pollinate plants and give them pollen. And it also gives us something to be able to breathe because the plants help make oxygen, and they also provide honey for us. That's something really big because we all like honey. They also find what species are invasive. The lionfish are such a big invasive species. They eliminate native fish and kill coral reef systems, and that's not very good for the ocean because fish are in coral reefs, and that's a place where they live in. And to that they help. There's something that they do is they have biologists go out and get as many lionfish, and they kill them, but they kill them in a good manner, being able to still keep them but not have so many around to keep them in one contained area. What fields can biologists work in? Biologists can work in many fields. Something that surprised me was they could also be a zookeeper, which is something interesting to me because my parents worked at the zoo, and we would always see the zookeepers going in and out of the enclosure. And I was thinking about as well being a zookeeper when I found out you can also have that biology course with it, that you can be a zookeeper. They also discover how plants work and humans' body work. In plants they can discover how the way plants pollinate, how they reproduce, and how they make more of what they are, what happens. They can also be biochemists. Biochemists, they use a microscope to discover the small little organisms that are there. Like going back to the diseases, you can find what COVID-19 looks like and how to identify it from there and on. And they can also work in medical fields. A lot of the times biologists need that medical field to be able to go against because they have those memorization towards the human body, because there's a lot to the human body. There's many bones, many muscles that can be discovered, because what if there's things such as dead bones? Because that's something I have, and I didn't know that existed because it was just random. You never know what could happen, and with that, you could also have that as a credential, because then you have something new so that you didn't know about. That's why biologists are good to have around in medical fields, because there could always be something you never know about and they discovered. Biotechnologists also help with that because they're technicians. They also help with that technological point of biology. That's why I want to be a biologist, because biologists have many impacts on different parts of the world and on humans and animals and pretty much life, because or else if we didn't have biologists here, how would we be able to discover things such as plants, how our bodies work, and what can help the ecosystems around us. Thank you for listening to my presentation.